Hi, my friends, it's me, Indy Rose. Just jumping on. I mean, it is the wee hours here, but I'm awake. My mind is kind of 100 miles an hour. So I thought, jump on, share with everybody, see what the internet has to say about the Charlie Kirk situation. Just watch Candice, so the mind is kind of 100 miles an hour. Very interested in the things that has been kind of commented on about the Brian Harpool interview with Sean Ryan. So I just wanted to clarify with some context with the way I'm approaching this so that it doesn't get lost in translation why I feel that certain things have happened as they have. My opinion is just my own, and not just that. I mean, you don't have to listen to little old me. It's just me, just what I'm seeing and how it transpires through myself. So let's start with let's have a little look. Let's have a little start with the Brian interview first. The reason why I'm uncomfortable with the way that interview went is that I watched the Frank Turek podcast just before this, and the way in which they both conduct themselves and the way that they give their answers, they're quite mirroring, even down to when they're given how far they are away from Charlie. Frank was like 30 feet and then Brian was 10 meters. There was quite the crossover with the way in which they recounted the journey to the hospital, that yes, they were all in the car, they were all going in the same direction, they all was kind of focused on Charlie. But I don't know, it was just the terminology and the way in which it was recanted. It felt very rehearsed, that this is what we're putting out there. I really dislike the timing of it as well, knowing what I know about what you can do to induce memory kind of reconfiguration for the way in which people see things. I just feel like it was like, right, it's time to put the cat amongst the pigeons. Let's send Brian out there now. Apparently not on the gag order, so I don't know how he can do this and release text messages and things. So that's quite a curious little turn up for the books. I think you'll agree. So with the interview, it was just interesting. You could really see where comfortable talking about the things that he had done. And then I appreciate that what happened to Charlie was a very high, tense, emotional situation. But these are trained individuals to have about themselves a sense of professionalism and decorum. I think that I seen the true sadness come through from Brian when he spoke about Charlie's eyes. Really see that I feel that was probably the first time that he recalled it and it just took him over. And that's not to say you haven't seen her in his sleep and felt vulnerable at home. But I think saying it out loud, out of the comfort zone, really made him, as if like he heard the words for the very first time. It kind of went into my heart. This is why I can't understand with people that when Charlie passed and they were celebrating and dancing and things, that if you can do that when something like this unfolds in front of you, there is something innately, desperately wrong with you. However, when it came to watching what happened to Charlie, it was horrific because I'm biased because I am pro Charlie, and then there's other people out there that didn't like him, but I felt that they didn't like him because they couldn't get their nonsense across, for the great many of them, that they used to kind of stamping their feet and going, I'm right, you're wrong, you listen to me, I'm going to be like blah. And Charlie's like that, I'll shut you down with some facts. And then that's it. Then, oh, I hate you. Kind of stuff. So, that was always entertaining to watch. In the respect of it being with Brian, I didn't appreciate the answers that he was given either. So when it came to the drones, I have been pushing out there a little bit of a video combo thing that I've put together, because having watched the Frank interview and listening to the things that he'd said, as soon as Brian started talking about the drones, and then he was like, no, we didn't have no drones, we couldn't do X, Y, and Z to get it done, and it's the police fault, and is this chief's fault. It was like, you're supposed to be a professional outfit, this is your job, and blaming things on stuff like budgets. I seen Charlie's interviews and he's like, listen, I spend $500 a month on Starbucks, but that was his thing for him when he was going to events and stuff. So that's his indulgence. I mean, go nuts. But so why couldn't he have gone to Charlie and said, listen, we've got this issue. We've got this open area. I know that apparently he was happy with it, that he was willing to go there and, don't worry about anything else. And we need to get these extra 10 police officers in. Can we write it into the budget? Blah, blah, blah. Why wasn't that kind of asked about? Well, why not do this? I really dislike the context that everything has been driven in with this. The drone situation particularly really grips my gears, because Frank said that there was drones, that he and Charlie were watching and looking at the drones on the way in, and he apparently said, oh, I feel that this is highly unsafe. And I just, when I heard that, I felt very seriously, after what I can see on your phone screen, you're going to be Charlie. I'm going to lay the groundwork down. I don't know whether that's just in case someone missed or something went awry, and then obviously you've got to have your different corners covered. But when Frank said that there were drones that day, they were physically watching the footage, and that he relayed his feelings to Charlie. When Brian was in this interview and he's like, nah, no drones, we had to table them. UVU said no, the police wasn't asked. I'm like, that's your job. Don't tell me that you're going to turn up and walk the grid and make sure this and put it in a bubble. Bubbles go pop. You need to put a steel ball bearing around whoever that is. And when they were setting up the chair under the tent, why would you set it up directly smack bang in the middle? Why is Charlie in the middle? Why is Charlie there? If you look from his seat, he is in what would, be the perfect line of sight. And so when Brian was saying about the drones being not a feasible option because of the police fault, the UVU said no, alarm bells ring for me, because I've looked heavily into the drone angle, because I am team drone all the way with this. And with Brian saying this, I was like, it doesn't ring true, not one bit, because UVU actually, yes, is a private compound where they got their own sets of rules. And yes, you do have to have the FAA 107 waiver. But you also need then, if the police are going to get involved, they have to issue a warrant, otherwise they're not able to use any of the images and the videos that are brought in. The UVU do have drones. They have drones. They have them for training and certifying people. They have, I believe that it was something that I read that they even compete with them as well. So I don't know. I don't know whether it's because a paper trail would have to be put into play, that you'd have to notify the different places that you're going to be putting something up into the air. It is in active airspace as well, so I think that it would have been a little bit more of a paper trail. Something else would have been a little bit more expanded in those parts. So to say that he couldn't get a drone, do a drone, have a drone, I call utter bullshit on this. I cannot stomach that they knew that they had these concerns about this part of the roof, that they said they were told they had to be down into the courtyard. Well, I'm sorry, but if you've got to be down in the courtyard, why are you putting Charlie right smack bang in the middle of a bullseye? Why are you doing this? There's a whole area there that you could have put Charlie in to make him safe. You could have changed where he was. You could have adjusted it. You could have made your bubble a little bit more stronger by just simply putting Charlie. Don't worry about where someone was supposed to have shot him. You should have put him in a different place. You should have made it safe. That is on you. And I don't think that I'm being harsh when I say this, that you cannot say, I've got you covered. It's like, what if he was off sick? I mean, I've got you covered. What does that even mean? Why, in your professional capacity, aware of the dangers and the build-up and all the kind of the heat that is around Charlie in this open arena at that time, Why wouldn't you give a phone call? And saying, oh, what do I have to chase a grown-ass man? It's like, oh, bollocks. No, absolutely not. Yes, you are supposed to ring him. Why? Because you're not guarding the KB, my friend. You was guarding Charlie Kirk. It doesn't matter who you was guarding, in fact, but you need to do your job properly. Your due diligence. You know, if you're saying that people were tying up bike racks and getting crime scene tape on, well done. You made it super safe because you didn't want any rocks chucked at him. I can't with this drone stuff at all because I know for a fact that there are drones on that site. I have videos of them. Also connected the pathway. I have to do a better video. Let's put it this way. This is all new to me. So being able to kind of cut, edit, and put things together in a very watcher-friendly way is something completely brand new. My line of work, my business that I have is on a completely different level, doing something nothing like this at all. So I am right out of my comfort zone, but I'm here, I'm turning up. And so please bear with me while I get used to this kind of digital, this tech stuff. I'm like, no, give me a book, send me out in the field. What am I, a cow? Probably. Anyway, so looking at everything that was in that interview, highly, highly uncomfortable. And the role was Brian and the team. Brian wasn't there early. He wasn't there when Dan and everybody else was. So, and I believe that Dan is supposed to be like the risk assessment person. Why wouldn't you put one of those officers, one of these extra people that you've brought with you, just up there? I mean, it's not a difficult place to get to. It's not like you've got to scale walls or, jump through hoops. It's literally just like up a staircase. Or, you could go to the other side of the building and just walk around and just go up the ladders. I mean, I've never been to Utah. I've never been to the States. But I know my way around that university. And it's not my job to know exit routes and the way that people can get access to someone. So if I can do that, I sat here doing minding my own business, I am pretty sure that it could have been sorted. It could have been sorted. It doesn't help then that, as I said, the blame, the culpability is being pushed onto whoever else it is that was involved. You could have got more people involved. I think personally that the reason why the police officers in the outside in Areem wasn't brought in was for the simple reason that a warrant would have had to have been issued. The paper trail would have been very, very extensive. The itty bitty drone that he said that you can put up for media, you cannot do that. You can illegally do it. You can do whatever it is you want. There's actually, in the days leading up to the 10th of September, there was reports of sites of, what are they called? UAS. I think I'm saying that right. The drones. That there was around there, the lights and everything. So that feels to me like there was a little bit of a practice, a little bit of a recon going on. And then with that in mind as well, the fact that saying that, oh yeah, they check these itty bitty ones up. If you've put yourself and your team through training, you know that you need to get these waivers. You know that you need to put things into place. Like there's certain rules that you've got. If you're going to fly over the tops of crowds, people got an expectation of privacy. There are students on campus that day that are not involved in the Charlie Kirk thing, and they've got a level of expectation of privacy, surely. So there's all these different things that would have had to have gone in place. You probably would have had to have found out flight times. You would have had to have found out how, it's supposed to only be 400 feet anyway. Are the people registered? Is the drone registered? Like, there was a paper trail there that really was meant to kind of exist. I bring this in with it a little bit as well, just to touch very slightly onto the plane things. I've not gone down that rabbit hole just now. I've been quite more focused on the drones and just analysing people. when I did kind of touch base with this for purposes of the one flight that comes in, it is, let me see, okay, there is a Bombardier Challenger 300 that comes in, an N888 kg, comes into Provo, but then it also kind of goes back out as well. What piqued my interest was that they bring this in with it a little bit as well, just to touch very slightly onto the plane things. I've not gone down that rabbit hole just now. I've been quite more focused on the drones and just analysing people. When I did kind of touch base with this for purposes of the one flight that comes in, it is, let me see, okay, there is a Bombardier Challenger 300 that comes in, an N888 kg, comes into Provo, but then it also kind of goes back out as well. What piqued my interest was that there is a low light aircraft that goes overhead, I think is a Cessna, around probably about 20 minutes after everything had happened, 20-25 minutes. And for me, that was like, has someone then got from the campus, gone to the light aircraft field? So there's a Geneva strip there. There's over in the Vineyards area, not the Spanish Forks, that's going to be too far. And this one is literally just past the old steelworks. Told you, it's like I could walk around Utah right now, around a rim and be like that. Oh yes, this. Oh my goodness. But go off the N400 North. Yeah, so they would have had enough time to have made it across to get in the light aircraft to fly into Provo Airport. Then made it there in time to be able to get out. There were flights that would have connected going to Dallas. There was a number of There's a number of ways this played out, other than it being a man on the roof going to the end of the campus, popping a gun down, and then just kind of like hiding out in his car. In case you can't tell, I don't buy into that. So yeah, so the stuff that Brian was saying, I really don't buy into it. Oh, that was the other thing. When I run it through and I worked it through ChatGPT, I was asking about the flights that were coming in, what was landing, because I was curious as to light aircraft, commercial, private, and all the rest of it as well. So for a certain little block of time in Provo Airport, they keep a space, I think it's either 1 till 2 hours, 1 till hours 2, when light aircrafts can come in and land for their training and go back out. UVU've got their aviation. They've also worked with, they've got quite a few companies out there actually. It seems to be quite the sport to learn how to fly an aeroplane, which is pretty cool. It looks really beautiful there. But during that time, an aircraft did get turned on. And I was working with ChatGPT, and they said that the aeroplane that had switched on, it had landed without any passengers. So I'm going to have to go back through all my chats and have a little look at this. But when I was watching Candice this evening, it came back into my mind. I was like, oh yeah, chat said that to me, because I was looking on that flight radar. We'd got like lots of little yellow airplanes going everywhere. And that's when they said, look, this one is flagged up, but there wasn't any kind of movement through the airplane. It just turned on, it powered up. They said sometimes pilots go out and do this. With this in mind, I was kind of wondering, when this happened, was it to either put some sort of foxiness into the air for signals, which obviously would be quite dangerous with airplanes and whatnots, or is there someone on the send in like a signal, send in some sort of control for drones? Yes, I am hardcore for these drones. I can't shift it, and I found them. They're there. They're very kind of obvious as well. Once you see them, you can't not see them. You can't unsee them. So yeah, the drones are utter shit. I don't think that you can pass the buck on to the police, but I would be very, very interested to know that if there was in fact someone on that roof, I don't believe someone was on that roof, not then, that direct line from that walkway, from that overpass, you can see onto that roof. You can see it clear as a bell. If there was anyone so much as about 3 meters close to the edge of that roof, you'd have seen him. The people that were just to the right-hand side, all in the corner, would have seen him. The people opposite and up onto the balconies just there, they turned round, they most certainly would have seen someone on that roof. You cannot not see someone. And yet we're supposed to believe that there is one person that magically found when they spun their phone, that they've caught this person on camera, not tying up the weapon into a towel, not dismantling it or putting it together or wherever it is that people are saying, but they've managed to find this individual running away. And then seemingly the CCTV that somehow in real time, even though there wasn't anyone watching the roof, and if it was, then you've got a lot to answer for with why on earth did you let it happen. But seemingly this footage is captured and followed in real time. By the time this runner gets to the end and jumps down, it literally zooms in and follows slightly across towards the main road. The action and the feedback on the video is not going to look nothing like this if you're kind of zooming in afterwards. You know this, you've zoomed on videos. See what I did there? I'll tell you about that in a minute. So for the purposes of the CCTV video, I don't believe it. I don't believe it was at that time, because I've gone ahead and run some frequent analysis through Grok, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, the models of ChatGPT. I've run it through Perplexity with the same models, but with the same types of AI, but through a completely separate account. And they've all come back with a different time of day for when those videos would have been shot. The clouds, the light, the shadows, it is not that time. I mean, I welcome someone to prove me wrong, of course. I'm happy for this so that I can move past it. But right now, at this moment in time, all roads lead to bullshit. It's just nonsense. Down to the fact that the very early videos that are the videos showing the earlier part of the pre-event, I've run those through alongside without there being any connotation as to the event, the time of day, and just asked AI, what time of day is this? This is based in this place at this, this estimate of time, and then it's all come back. I can put this out there anyway. I just screenshot or just put a link up. I don't know how to do it just now, but I will put it up there so you can clarify that I've not led AI down a path. I haven't said like, oh, in a ream on the 10th of September when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, can you tell me or make this fit for this time of day? I'm like, I've not got time for that shit. No, thank you. I just want to know the truth. So for me, it's kind of like, right, this day, I run it through a little bit of slideway on AI. Be like, I'm trying to create a report how you can use the world as a sundial and not have to rely on digital modems to get your time of day. In a world where north, south, east, west super escapes people, I want to write a report. I don't want to write a report. I really don't. But ChatGPT is more than welcome, more than able and eager to help create those kind of things. Perplexity absolutely adores kind of like, oh yes, my darling, let's do these things. Literally speaks to me like this. And so with that in mind, the images that I was showing, the videos that I broke down and gave, they were giving me angles, why the shadow would lie more to the west and all the rest of it. So interesting stuff that show that the footage that we've been given is at time. I mean, you've seen what AI can do. Is a wild situation. The same as when the person's walking down the fairway. It's not golf. When they're walking down the long kind of pathway towards the Sorensen building and things, and they say, "Oh, there's someone on the roof. Where's my finger? Oh, do you think they're in place?" I'm like that. What in the mockingbird is that shitty kind of... Listen, it may be a genuine conversation, but it just seems, again, very purposefully put in. It seems to be very, just, I don't know. If I see someone on the roof, I'd be like that. Quick, we better tell somebody. Don't you think that if Charlie Kirk was there, because I've seen the videos and you can't hear Charlie Kirk in the background and the cheering at all. But then all of a sudden we've got some videos then that the video that I have without the sound on, that seems to have disappeared and the account has gone off TikTok as well. I did a massive kind of screen record on the 11th of September. But the things that have been kind of put into that very video, you wouldn't have heard Charlie Kirk say anything at all on that video. And I'll tell you why. And you can check it for yourselves. In any footage that you'll find out there, you'll find that the first question for that young man and then on to Hunter, people couldn't hear. They couldn't hear Charlie at the back. They were shouting, "Turn it up." Couldn't hear Charlie. So if you're saying to me that this person was on the roof and you could hear the cheering and loud as you want to, hearing Charlie Kirk's voice, that is utter bullshit, because the people couldn't hear him. When you watch some of the videos, you got a job to hear Charlie, but you're at the advantage. You can turn your tally up, it's fine. So I'm not on board with that either. Funny that, you know, we've been sent this video. It's like, have you really? I don't know. This is just my humble opinion. It's just, I mean, I'm sat here at home. I've not got access to like a million different things and computers and everything. This is just where my ADHD mind takes me. And yeah, of course, that means I'm a little bit, you know, like a bottle of pop. But I digress. So the reason why I said about the way that you can be very clever with the way in which things are said, done, and purposefully intended with the way that they are delivered, the timing, is thusly. It's a little bit too convenient that one person who's in the perfect place, in a shitty little bit of the buildings, captures this figure, and that the other 3,000 to 4,000 people don't even know. That's number one. The CCTV seemingly picks this person up who fucking glides across that roof. Tyler's got a disability with his leg. I saw this in the one where he has the sheriff when he'd had a knock in his car. I'd said to my husband, he's got something wrong with his leg. That's my job. I see these things. And then it came out later then, yes, he has got a disability. So for him to have run like straight across that land, straight across the roof in gravel, which is kind of, if you've ever tried to run in sand or in gravel, what a nightmare. And then be able to go to the end of the building, scale down it like King Kong, and then bugger off to the end of the campus. Come on now. Come on now. Okay? So it just seems like this tale of continuation has been put into your mind. There is I'm not going to go into it now, but there is psychological ways, there are methods, there are techniques that are labeled for you to have certain memories put into you. And then what they'll do is they'll pour out something else to really fuss with your cognitive and what it is that you feel that you're recalling. So then gradually you'll forget what it is that you know, and you'll remember what you're told. So I feel that this now, the rats are starting to kind of fester and move in. And this is the same that we kind of all seen the stuff, what happened to Charlie. And it was horrific. We absorbed as much as we could from social media. You couldn't get away from it. And now all of a sudden, you've only got a select amount of videos that you can get. There's only so many angles. You see all those phones? There should be tens of thousands of clips, but it's not. You'll only get these select few. And now these other little ones are kind of sneaking through. You're getting these little bit of extra, more clearer images and things. So I don't trust it. I don't trust that you can only see this much of Frank. You can only see this much of Rick. And it's like, it's a little bit too seeded for my liking. So when Frank is then recounting his journey to the hospital and what it is that he's seen, like, he's like a son to me. He's my fourth son. And you ain't going to stop me going in that car. And the way that he describes them going through intersections, the distance from Charlie. And then Brian gives his recount. He's like that, oh, well, I got to let Frank come. He treats him like a son. He's like a fourth son. And then the only difference that he makes then, he puts a little bit of military into it. He's like, oh, Dan's in the front saying, in 200 meters, go left. Then they use exactly the same words, I think, give or take a syllable, of how they went through the intersections and how they were driving round the roads. I forget what it is that they said, but yeah, it was like, oh yeah, we did this, and off they went. So with those kind of things being said, and the way that kind of Frank does this, touch his nose, and he raises his eyebrows and kind of goes quite sad and looking around and not disputing his grief. So don't give me shit, because I don't really care. But the way that he's like scurrying and doing this, go and watch him. Watch the way that you can tell, because every time he was going to lie, I got my husband to watch it with me. I was like, he's going to do his lips now. And he would do it, and my husband would just be laughing. He'd be like, oh my God. He's like, how can you tell? I'm like, because he's getting ready. Because after the rhetoric of, you will do this and God does that, blah, 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 he's very much in control. He feels empowered because he knows what he's saying. He's done 1,000 times. This nonsense that he's peddling out, oh yes, there were drones up and we, all the rest of it. You could see where there was this reading off the screen. Like me, I haven't got anything right now. I've just got a couple of notes that I know that I want to say. And whatever comes out of my face, we're in this together. But the stuff that he was saying, you could see him reading it, but everything had an intention. There was something that needed to be addressed, but it was meant to come across as if like, I'm only just saying this just now. These are the things that I need to say. But they were addressing very specific things to come across as being genuine actions and words and thoughts. There was the same with Brian. He went through the same process of, I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to say this now, and awesome police. It's like, you're just going to say now that they let you down, that it's their fault, that they didn't give you enough people. But yeah, awesome police. I'm like, make your mind up, dude. What the fuck are you on about? I just, even down to into the hospital, the way that this bullet was supposed to have hit him with Charlie's seemingly skeletal steel system, I don't for one second believe any of it. So the stories and everything, I can't with it. I can't with Frank. And what you'll notice as well, that when someone wants to tell you a story, especially if they've got a very heavy accent. So with Brian, he's got a really lovely accent. I love his accent. I love a southern accent. I just think they're really amazing. I'm not going to let the passport that an ADHD person can have, which I do. I'll skip into any accent normally. This is pretty good. I haven't gone Scottish or nothing. Perfect. But in his southern accent, when he's talking, he will talk to you very slowly then, like he's telling someone a story. He will begin with his once upon a time, and his accent gets heavier. So when you watch it, watch back. When he's discussing his career, when he's discussing his business, when he's discussing the Charlie stuff, when he's trying to sell you a narrative, watch his accent. Watch how long and drawn out everything becomes, because he's trying to make it into this epic tale. You would for a child, and you're just trying to make this an interesting tale. That's what happens. If someone's got an accent, I mean, I've got a very strong accent for very many people, but my accent could go a little bit heavier. And the further west we go, our accent can go really, really deeper. So this is pretty, hopefully pretty clear. But when you want to tell a story, it can go a little bit more on top. Okay, so his accent really super takes over. Frank, on the other hand, he gets a little bit kind of like, he'll bring God into it. He'll whip the Bible out and beat you with it. He'll just say all these different verses just for that sense of empowerment. Brian wants to sell you something. He wants to give you a story. And he wants to give you a story. And yeah, that's all I want to say about that. So Forrest Gump. So with that in mind, yeah, I didn't like the fact that he sidestepped about the trapdoors. Did you notice that the trapdoors were brought up and then the trapdoors immediately went away? So what's that about? I'm very curious to know about that. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but he really poo-pooed straight past it. The crying, the first lot when he mentions Charlie's eyes, yeah, that broke my heart. I don't like to see people cry anyway, especially, I don't know why, because I'm not a crier. I'm a very sensitive person, but if I cry, it's either because I'm super angry or because something has really, really hit me in the feels. Now, it didn't take me to the point that I wanted to cry, but I did feel that kind of outpouring. And like I said earlier, people who watched that stuff with Charlie and then they were like celebrating, shame on them. Fuck them anyway. That's disgusting. You know, they'll meet their kind of karma at some point. And don't get me started on the way that people can condone those actions with a smile these days. I don't know what's happened to the humanity on this planet, but it is vile. But that's for another story. So when then he got upset then the second time, it was different. And I tell you why. Sadness means when you get really sad, when someone really, really feels something, you'll know, because their skin and their muscles in their face go very, very soft. This is why we get the thing about like ugly crying. I mean, I'm a severely ugly crier, because like if it's coming out, it's coming out, and I'm not going to go, oh my God, I'm just so sad. It's just going to, it's a mess. So when it first happens to Brian, you can see that look, that genuine kind of like, second time round, not so much. Didn't lose his cheekbones. Everything stayed tight. It was a very controlled situation. He's also very deflective. He'd be like, Frank did the same as well when he was on about the blood. He was like, you've seen it. Very dirty tactic. That's for you to give him confirmation so that you will kind of push wherever it is that you see, feel, know, and think. Because you'd be like, oh yeah, we think the same thing. You've seen it. If I was to say to you, well, the sky is blue, you've seen it. You're thinking of a blue sky. So if I was to say to you that something happened in a certain way, knowing full well that you would have had some sort of interpretation of it in your head, that can easily go in and interchange all of that. Very clever. Very fucking clever. And just watching it kind of just like it's like theatre. It's like, what is going on? What are you people doing? Stop it. Just tell the goodness to me truth. And that's all I want to say about that too. So yeah, I can see that I've been talking for a wee bit, but I've had quite a bit to say. I mean, I'm searching all the time and then trying to put things out on video. I just feel like maybe you can watch this in bits and maybe just give up after the first 10 minutes and you've come to this part and you're like, oh God, she's on about. I might not watch it. Please watch it. Share it. Put something in the comments to say, listen, you are batshit crazy, lady. And I'm like, yes, my tinfoil hat is on. Buckle up because the next bit is going to drive you nuts. These drones. Oh, no, first of all, just want to say before I get into the drone stuff, to hit the C2, Charlie would have either had to have been leaning. No, he wasn't leaning. Or he would have had to have gone through his jaw or through the back of his mouth or some. If those specific vertebrae and everything would have been obliterated, Charlie's head would have been, you would have known not to do CPR on him because his head would have felt loose underneath the skin. It holds everything to the axis. It's what allows you to do this. So if you're C2 and then all the way down to the C6 is the completely buggered, your head will not feel like it's attached to, being able to do all these things. You won't be able to do that. So when they were carrying him to the car, when they had him in the car, when they were doing this CPR and this pack-in and whatever it is that they said they did, they'd have known because Charlie's head would have been something completely different. Not only just the eyes that are the windows to the soul. They'd have known. They'd have said his head was floppy. There would have been other adjectives and things that they would have used to describe all these things. And at not one time did they say his neck felt this way, his head wouldn't move correctly, or he had too much movement in the neck region. So that's number one. That's why I'm like, absolutely not. Number two, drones. So there's two main drones. There's a little bit of a swarm going on there, but there are two main drones. These little shits are moving around the place. They're there quite early. There's some people that raise my kind of dar about them. There's someone there with a laptop. I don't know why they're there with a laptop, just sat there. He sat there with some young girl. It's the individual that everyone thought had a gun. And I was out there like, no, it's a laptop. And then in my mind, it's like, fuck, it's a laptop. Oh my goodness. So when the girl was going down to get her bag at one point, and she could see the footage that I used, she could see someone film it, and she kind of like brought her on straight back up. So that to me was like, oh, that's curious. I'm going to have to focus on this. So these drones, you can see them going everywhere. They're like, oh no, there are flashes around this and flashes around there. Well, who takes a torch to an interview? Why was that put down? For everybody to pick up. So, next time then me or someone else says, oh, there's flash, they'd be like, no, they're probably signaling to each other. Ding, 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 ding. No. Stop it. You crazy motherfuckers. Stop it. I hope that this can kind of shed a little bit of light onto this, because when he brought those torches out, I was like, oh Christ, he's going to try to kind of poo-poo the flashes. Idiot. So with the flashes, something called geofencing, that you could control where the boundaries are. The flashes are also from the material and from the actual drones themselves. But the Rick Cutler, that's his specialty. He did a lot of like humanitarian stuff where they work with drones, and his specialty was the geofencing, was the geocaching and all the rest of it. So that's his thing. So with him being there early, with a specific amount of people, popping these, check the video, go and have a look at it. It ain't torches. That's one and done. It's not torches. There is one that actually flashes down by Hunter when he's giving his questions. I can see them across onto one of the balconies as well. I am going to be putting up just one big drone video showing all the different captures. I have put bits and bobs up, mainly to support the fact that Frank is watching one of the drones on his phone. There's no question that man is watching the drones. In fact, he's got a different phone. He's gone from a black phone to this like shiny one with like a circle on the back. It makes me so cross. Drones actually move around in such a way that they are super quick, obviously. That let's just move straight to the crunch time, that when Dan's doing his okey cokey nonsense, it's been said that when he puts his arm out and turns it, there is a video online that I've done of this, but obviously I'm a very small account. I don't know how many people's going to see me waffling. But when he turns his arm, everybody that watches it then, because of this kind of psychological thing, is like, no, it's nothing, it's because of is Dan's arm. Frank's phone is videoing his arm. Let me stop you there. Okie doke. When Dan does this, when you look from the left-hand side across, before this part of the arm even reaches the sunshine, it's a little shiny dot that appears. That's your drone. When, what's his name, Dan turns his arm, and you can see a little flash on, what's his name, on Frank's phone, you're not seeing the dot on his arm. You're actually seeing the drone capture itself. So, probably one of the drones capturing the other one, because they move in unison together. I don't want to get too into the patterning of it, but I will be putting out just one big fat 16-day long drone video. But so I changed the filters. I put it into to more the contrast colors, so that the lighter colors become dark and the dark colors become light. You haven't got like fleshy colors and whites and blues and reds and everything that our natural vision sees. Let me see if I can explain this just a sec. Okay, so when Dan puts his arm out, where the sun hits the arm, let's just say that that's pink. And the inside of the arm, where it's dark and shaded, is green. On the phone screen, is actually showing as green. So when he turns his arm over, you'd expect the arm to move to green, but it doesn't. It turns to pink, and then it goes back. Because the shadow side of it, the light side of it, is actually turned to shadow, and the shadow's turning into light. And then you can see the little sparkle on there. So I don't even know if I've explained that correctly, but I do it better in the video. But it's showing that what's on the phone screen can only be achieved if it was still in dark going to light, not light turning round into dark. At that same time, you can see from an outside footage as well that the two little droney things are up into the eaves of the tent. They come down. The one goes in towards Dan's arm. You can see it on the video. You can see it on Frank's phone screen. It is there. It is impossible for Frank, number one, to have the inside of Dan's arm. Number two, how the fuck is his phone taking photos of Charlie from up above him? Slow it down. Have a look. It is on his phone. He said himself, I nearly fell through the floor when he said himself in his own video, oh, we were watching the drone footage as we come in. Well, I was nearly like, I was flabbergasted because I thought I was making something like that up. Like, oh, you know, how could you watch a drone on the phone? But apparently he knows how to do it. He can do it. So, but I'd already proven and researched and found out about how you can work drones and military drones in particular. So, yeah, so that's on there. And you can see these little things moving around. And you can actually see them when it moves around the outside, how it gets turned around. It goes underneath the underpass. It actually gets the shadow of the sheriff. What's that doing on Frank's phone? You know, notwithstanding that he had the furthest parts of the fountains on there. But that's okay, he's FaceTiming. Asterisk disclaimer, he was FaceTiming first off. But inevitably, they're a bit sly. He gave his phone to someone, alibi. And then he was over the other side of the thing going like this, oh yeah, look at me. Because he had like people there that would be like, oh yeah, no, he was FaceTiming. He may have been, but he was not at that time with his stuff with Charlie. The get this, the drones were actually moving across when he does the head and the cheek thing. He is the catalyst that started everything off. Now, I firmly believe that there was someone out there in the crowd that was kind of giving like a thumbs up as well, but I've not got that far because, you know, I'm just focusing on these bits at the minute. So then he does that. Mikey McCoy looks over, seemingly gives Dan the cue to do the okie dokie. You got some military shaven head boy in a white jumper or t-shirt just to the side of Frank, who brings his hands through and does 1, 2, 3, bang with his hands. I don't know. It's a little bit too coincidental. So these drones, they're faster than shit off a stick. They are flying around the place. So you be forgiven for missing them. And number 2, you'd be forgiven for thinking it couldn't be them because they move faster than what it is that you're seeing on the screen, which is why it took me a little while until we got better footage to find out source initially because it was very murky. So as soon as I seen it and I noticed it, I mean, crazy as I am, I did see them. It was there. Golf buggies, cars, whatnot. Frank's phone. It shows the footage of, again, impossible, the sound guy. This drone goes around to the other side. It drops down by Blake, comes back by the sound guy. And then it's coming around the front of the tent. Now, in time with what happened, this drone now shot off around, excuse the pun, around the side of the tent. But before we even know it, Charlie's already been hit. Now, we think that the timing of the hit is, or whatever it is, because it ain't no bullet, and it's not from behind, and it's most certainly not from all the way up on that stupid rooftop. The drone is gone. So where someone kept saying like, no, it's a bullet from the back, it's coming from the back, coming from the back, it's like, it's impossible for something to be coming forward when it's going back. I don't know what type of science you work with, but it is impossible. And that's the end of that. When you see that going all the way through there, it's already dropped something, turned something on. I don't know. But I digress. The drones in question that I've seen, that I've researched, these like insect-looking ones, a little bit like the Black Hornet, they are, and there's other ones that have come out since, that are actually infrared based, which relates into the flashes of the lights. Influence then that it has is that as it comes around, it can have a lethal payload that only needs just a brief second. And don't think for 1 second that those things are not mightier than the sword, because they can lift quite heavy weights. It isn't like what you think it is anymore. Don't let anybody do some research. Go out there, have a look. AI might not give you so much, because I started asking AI about drones and things. Oh my goodness, probably about the second day. Then chat was very open. It was like, oh yeah, drones, let's have a chat about them. Oh, military this and blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, there are some lethal ones out there. And they listed like, something like hummingbird. And it's just some other ones as well out there telling me about. They have got ones with like facial recognition. They've got some with heat seeking on there. I was like, whoa. But then when I went back on there then, not so long later, they was kind of like, oh, no, we can't help you because we can't really help you kill someone. And it's like, motherfucker, I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm asking you, oh yeah, no, we can't provide a conjecture upon any real-time things because there's law courts. But if you've got any suspicions, get in contact with the FBI and let them know. And I'm like, oh, this is shit. So I'm really lucky that I screenshot and I've kept all the conversations anyway, but they're all on there. That all the questions that I asked, the different type of drones, the countries that produce them, micro swarms as well. So when people have been like, there's a bug, they do that on purpose. So I know I sound a little bit red pill, but I mean, I don't care. I sleep well at night thinking I'm either crazy or I'm right. Win and learn, my friends. So yeah, you can actually see as well on the footage that as the drone comes around for that kind of last movement, you can see it come in, and then the little rectangle box that it has underneath lights up, and then it keeps going. And then within so long, then everything unfolds with Charlie. Now, I can't say if it's a ballistic, I can't say if it's a laser, because, well, you know, I don't know these things. I didn't know about drones until this. And so, and I'll be honest, it's been probably like extended 18-hour days, just constantly just watching everything and listening to people, because I do really feel that there's been a massive injustice done here. That, yes, I didn't agree with Charlie with a great many things, religion being one of them. And my body is my body. I did agree with you shouldn't use abortion as contraception. But there was a great many things that I disagreed with Charlie. You got no business taking someone's life. And it would appear that it has happened not because of some sort of massive, oh my word, they're doubling down on this furry business because apparently it makes everybody angry. They're jumping on that transgender kind of train to pull all that kind of emotion out of people. But we see you, we see the people, we see the stories. The release of the JFK files probably helped with that, because people are like, we knew that didn't happen. The moon landing should come next. And now they managed to find a petrol station on the way up and back. We'll give them the thrusters to come all the way back. Anyway, I don't want to go into that right now. But, and I don't question things because I don't want them to be real. I've done it since I was very, very small, because I just don't believe, I don't know, something just don't fit. And when something don't fit, I trust it. It's like, I don't feel, no. And it was the same with the Charlie thing. So I'm not going to get into the Rick Cutler side of things, but he has got really extensive knowledge and wherewithals to be able to run such a thing. The setting up a Charlie in that central bit drives me to distraction, because that was beyond intentional. The video that I've put up previously, and I'm happy to put it up again, or give it to, if you want to, you can have it. I'm happy to give everyone everything that I have. That they are actually intentionally setting up Charlie in that place. Even to the point it looks like they're practicing for like taking him off to the left-hand side. Watch the footage, find the footage, see the footage, make your own assumptions. Don't go by what I'm saying. I'm just giving you the experience through the lens of my own crazy self. That to the point of this then, I believe that they chose to go outside. I believe that the video of the person on the roof for the building may not be from later on. I think it's probably earlier. There's not very many people there. There are students kind of milling about as though thinking, am I supposed to go in this direction? Am I got to go here, you know? So for me, I don't buy it. I don't buy that person was on that roof. And I tell you also for why, because when you look at all the different video footages from all the different angles, especially these new ones that are coming out, there's not one blot on that horizon, to the point that I've made a video as well that I'm going to release, that I've even magnified it out. Can't see it. The dude at the front that jumps over the table, he has got the most perfect, and Frank's got the most perfect line of sight as well. You got Butch, don't get me started on that. The dude that held Frank's phone behind him. You've got the one with the camera by there with the three light dots that the drone also picks up. It's just, there is so much going on, which is why it's really difficult to kind of pick up, and you got to break down these actors. Phil Lyman, what are you doing, motherfucker? You laugh when you're asked why, because you're not going to get paid for it. But the thing, you're not going to be getting any accolades for it. But you do look like a smug little prick, and I don't like it. So that's just my opinion on that. Don't like it. Charlie's your best friend and all that. And seemingly this camera, the footage of the doorbell. No. Who's all those cars on the drive? Very, very curious to know about those things. Yeah, there is a wealth of things going on all the time. Everywhere. They specifically lined Charlie up. They practiced. Watch the videos. Find the footage. Make your own decisions. There was no need for him to be on those buckets. The one person in particular, the one in the powder blue jumper, please find him. And I know I haven't put up any graphics and photos, and I know everybody likes all this screen stuff. I'm learning. I just wanted to speak to you. And also not indoctrinate you as well, that I'm going to say these things, and if something piques your interest, you can, take me with you. Find your things and see what I say and see what you think. But this dude in this blue jumper that's got this bag, glasses, I don't know, he just doesn't feel, he's just, I don't know. The young boy to the side, and when the one in the white t-shirt rocks up a little bit later on, I don't like the, I better not be like I know you kind of vibe that I've got between him and them. I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? I'm just saying. But when this all unfolds with Charlie, this guy in the powder blue top is up on the walkway, up above, on his phone, looking up and trying to say X, Y, and Z. Right? Now, bearing in mind, we know that they paved over everything. So crime scenes probably don't mean fuck all on a university campus. However, Charlie's just been shot and I'm a little bit annoyed about it. So when I think about these things, that's when my mind goes like, well, we need to look for something else. So lo and behold, when people were like, oh my God, is furry lover, is this him on this side of the roof and stuff? I'm like, do you know what? Let's go and have a look. So I found some footage. I had a little look. So I seen this person. I'm like, nah, I can't tell. I haven't got a clue. But it is the direct access to the very top balcony. And as you go down there and you look up onto the part of the roof where the figure was supposed to have taken the shot, who's on there? This man in the blue top with his bag. He is over there with the police, fucking moving about and walking about everywhere. When whoever took this footage goes up onto the corner as well and he's looking across, what can you see? You can see these people walking up and down. That crime scene is contaminated. I don't even know how you'd be able to get all that into evidence, because there are people out there that have got footage and evidence that these people have been directing it. This dude is on the phone and he's kind of looking back as if to be like, you know, you're not there looking to see where it's come from. You've got that kind of thing about you. Otherwise, how do you know it's come from that direction? You don't even know where Charlie's been shot just now. He's still in the car, on his way to hospital. You don't know what's happened. You've got no clue. You haven't even been examined. He went into to have an operation because apparently they found a pulse. Absolutely not. You have no business being up there. You shouldn't even know which direction it would have come from. Absolute bollocks. I just don't believe it. So I don't know how you managed to get any of that into evidence, because when I look at that roof as well, there's no running marks. If you had to get up and, you know, you'd be a bit like Scooby-Doo and try to get your feet going and run off. No, I can't. And then, okay, get this bit. Have a little look. You can sort it for yourself. I've had a look at people's footage that have gone to these sites, because obviously I'm not looking for confirmation bias, because as you can tell, I'm all about Team Charlie for this. I don't want it to be confirmation bias. So when I see that person slide across the roof with the greatest of ease, something doesn't ring true right there. And then when he jumps down, I'm like, the shadows, the reflection, even down to the angle of the path, it doesn't make sense. Angle of the path be the CCTV, okay? Asterisk disclaimer. This is all I can see sat here on my very restrictive computers and internet, and it's not, I'm not your like the fucking Minority Report, and although it feels like it sometimes when I'm like, right, I need this. I don't normally get all wrapped up in these kind of things. Everything unfolds in time. But this in particular, I felt like it was a line in the sand, that there was no coming back from this for the world. And I think this has been reflected in the way in which people are now pushing back against being called racist, fascist and Nazi. Those sweet little gems that people with no clue about history like to kind of spit out and regurgitate the party line just to see if they can shut you up. It's very beautiful to watch my own husband have his awakening, because I've been full of stuff for years, but I'm like behind closed doors. I'll say what I want to. For him now, and he's seeing all these things, it's like a child watching a fireworks display. It is stunning. I love watching it. I love watching people wake up. It's a little bit like when Neo gets that thing pulled out of his throat. That I'm not saying my husband. Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh my God, delirious in the wee hours of the morning. I think it's about like 3 o'clock in the morning. Here we are. Oh my God. It wasn't he. It was out of, yeah, and out the back of his head. Putting stuff in my husband's. Oh God. Hey ho, it fit right in with all these new worlds that we're supposed to be kind of sliming our way into. Oh my God, wait till I tell him. Oh, I ain't taking it out. Oh, I mean, right, this is going downhill fast. Okay, so, yeah, so, and it all connects. It all connects. We need to push back. We didn't push back after JFK. We should have pushed back after World War II. There's a lot of things that people have bastardized over the years to turn history into a certain way. I encourage you, nay, I implore you, get off the internet, go to a library. Now, don't be surprised if you have some big footloose, like you can't dance, you can't read. Now it'll be like bin books and stuff. Get to a library, find some really, really old books. Don't be buying, don't be going and getting something from now, because even though you can buy us back way back when, even within that bias, there'd be more information in there than you'll ever have today. Get and find something. I pore over books from the 17 and 1800s. I absolutely love getting the old books and just reading them. I mean, I did have a distinct advantage. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, so I had access to books that probably not in print anymore. And back all those many years ago, they were probably like new editions, not far off, you know. So I implore you, find old books, find old newspapers. And you might have to use the internet to kind of go into looking at stuff. Go and get some microfiche. I mean, how 90s is that stuff? Get some microfiche. Go and find some old newspapers. Read. Don't scroll and let the algorithms kind of fill you with what it is that they need you to know. You need to know the truth, and you need to have open hands so that you can receive the truth as well. So if your hands are closed because you're holding on too tight for the things that you think that you know and the things that you're told and the clever little magic that comes through the screen, they kind of like, look at this hand. Whoa. I don't know. But yeah. I'm going to go to bed in a minute. The sleight of hand with it all. Get some books. I have always read very old books. I'm very well versed in religion and history because it's always been a passion. It's not for something that I've needed to study for a qualification. It's just something I've done. Even down to like things like quantum physics, looking at energy, looking at the wonders of the world and how they connect. Like the human body as well is like fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I think that's why it's so nice to have the opportunity that is no longer going to be afforded to Charlie, is to grow up and grow old, to just learn more and not to be right. I think that's the most important thing as well, is that no one's right, but everyone can be wrong. And that's the difference, I think, that us as a society really needs to learn, that there is never any justification for inappropriate age relationships. No. And the difference between killing and murder. And that's the difference that people are not seeing anymore. They're justifying these atrocities. People are validating the stuff that's happened to Charlie because he said some hurty words. Oh my God. I grew up when sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. We grew up with a little bit of grit about us. And I don't like all this boomers and Gen Z. You're a human being. You're not of a certain age. You're of a certain being. Don't be boomers and Gen Zs and stuff. Why are you tying yourself down to a label? Why are you doing this? Be you. I love books from the 1800s. Don't mean I'm a mal. I also like going on the internet. Does it make me a nerd? I don't care. Just be you. Just be you. Stop putting all these labels and stuff, you know? So, yeah. One final thought to leave you with, and this is quite possibly something that could set you free. When you look at the footage of the runner, when they jump off the roof, forget about the dismantling and the creating of the weapon. Forget about the perch, the vantage point, the running. Forget about the jumping down. Just look. That's all I ask. Around there, that there's people casually just walking around. I guess, There was just one great big gun. It wasn't gunfire, it was a gun sound. And apparently, there's 3,000 people fucking screaming. And these people are walking around like it's a beautiful sunny day. They've just finished a class and they're having a little stroll. And then after the 30 seconds that it takes for the 75% or more to disperse from in the courtyard, bottom, the top of the auditorium and the upper balconies, all, where would you go? You're going to try to get the shit out of Dodge real, real fast. And if you've got a car, you're going to go to the car park. So what's the way you can do? You're going to go up to where the runner is. There is not one person. There is no look of alarm on these people's faces. They don't break their stride. Some of them walking when the gunfire would have happened. And they completely like, do, 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 do. Then you got this figure jumping down off the roof and running across. Didn't check to see if there was anybody there. And yet he's sending these poetic Shakespearean text messages saying, I'm worried about my fingerprints on my grandpa's musket. It's like, fucking hell. Is that what they think, like, transgender and furry people speak to people like? We haven't even got proof that this is what happened. You've had people saying like, oh yeah, I was definitely there. He was in that job. It was like that. Who are you? These people haven't come forward. And then they're taking photographs of a house that's seemingly like clean and tidy. It's just the photographs don't make sense either. Yeah, I am going to try to peel myself away now. Oh, the one last thing. Just one last thing. With regards to like what Tyler's wearing, go and have a look at the photographs of him with his hat on. He has his glasses and he has them on kind of the peak of the hat. Now, silly them, they made a mistake. Because whether they've done an AI or someone's been like, oh yeah, no, this is his hat. They've gone and got the hat with a triangle on there. And it's exactly the same triangle that the glasses make with his hat. Have a little look. I'm not making this shit up. It's real. It's there. And what the fuck is up with maroon, Utah? What is that about? I've never seen so much maroon unless it's been in a primary school for the uniform. Amazing. Amazing. But I will say it has been a dark journey. But oh my word, Utah, you are beautiful. Oh, takes my breath away. What a lucky student to go to UVU, regardless of all this other nonsense. I would like to visit there one day. I would like to go and kind of hold space for Charlie, my own way. Yay. Okay, I'm off. Thank you so much for listening to me waffle. If you've listened to this all in one, maybe 7 or 8 times. I don't know. Maybe you've just been like, oh, I'll press play and hi. But I'm going to go to bed. It is now, hang on, 3:26 a.m. on the 19th of November. Oh, and I got more spunk than an alley cat a minute. I just feel really... There's a lot of information tonight on Candice and the poor old kind of neurological pathways was like that. We can do that. I'm like, oh, brain. So I made a video and shared the time of me feeling a little bit cuckoo. No, I'm not a cuckoo. Those people are. They've got the morals of a cuckoo. All right then, my loves. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, there's going to be someone that don't agree with me and call me God knows what. Sticks and stones, baby. Yeah. It's a new world out there. And Charlie has made changes that he doesn't even realise the magic that, for me, that I felt that he made the massive change in life. And the catalyst that he's created was like a massive wake-up call to the rest of the world. So, good night, God bless.